but I'd like to then pass it now to the program manager for the data science bootcamp for WeCloudData, Adam. Adam will begin the presentation.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you for staying with us tonight. Thank you, everyone. So we are WeCloudData. So we are, first of all, we are Toronto-based, and also we are extended to United States next year. So we are Data Skill Training Academy. So we've been lots of work across the different ranking systems. So we are like a top best data science bootcamp in the course compare, and the best coding and data analytics bootcamp. And also we are the best data science bootcamp and the data analysis bootcamp from Career Karma. And also we are the top rank, first place in the Switch app. And also we've been partnered with many Canadian corporations and also United States companies to upskill our employees and also our students and the employees. So for WeCloudData, so first of all, I want to just give quick introductions about our diploma programs. So we have full-time bootcamp programs, including teaching SQL, Python, machine learning, big data. And if you are in the full-time bootcamp, you will automatically enroll to the WeCloud project. And for the full-time and part-time will be both available. For the part-time will be available on November. For the full-time will be available on the next year, February. We also have BI programs, and we will teach about Excel, Tableau, SQL, Python, and CRM, digital analytics, and the risk analytics. And we have part-time available on February 2024. And also we have the engineer bootcamp. It's a certifications. It's 6 months. 6 months. So we will talk about programming, Spark, Airflow, Docker, Kubernetes, data warehouse, ETL, data lake, and the data governance. Okay, so both are available in full-time and part-time in 2024. For the machine learning engineer, we have we will teach deep learning, TensorFlow, Python, NLP, Spark machine learning, ML, Kubeflow, model deployment. The part-time also start on 2024 at February. Okay. I believe there's lots of difference and for you guys to upskill yourself or for the career switch. So there are few differences, and there will be traditional online free courses, and also there are college, other traditional bootcamp. We are different compared with other bootcamps or the learning trainings. So first of all, we do have portfolio projects, and it do give you a hands-on web scraping project, machine learning project, deep learning, and big data project. And instead of the career advisor, we have industry mentor. Mentors, most of our mentors is our alumni who graduate from the bootcamp. Some of them are really high levels, like a senior manager, director in the different industry across the North America in the different industry. Some of them from high tech, some of them from the retail, insurance, or banking industry. So for career support, we provide like one-on-one mentorship. So we will help you polish your resume, help you to do the mock-up interview, and give you some advice to pass the interview. The key is we do provide you the WeCloud project to our students because that's the gap on your resume. So in the realities, if you don't have relevant experience in North American, it's going to be very hard for new grads or new immigration or career switcher to get interview. So we do have the WeCloud project. It will help you to get more experience, working experience and help you to put on that key thing on your resume. So you will expect to receive more interview opportunities. Okay. So for today, we are gonna talk about current job market, mainly focused on August and September, and also the salaries, and also a little bit more about bootcamp. First of all, if you are new to data industry, just let me do a quick introduction to the data scientist. For data scientists, there are 4 different types of data scientists. So one of them is operational data scientist. What you're gonna be good at will be the SQL and visualization, Python, and also you have to know how to using applied machine learning. And also very important for you to communicate in your team, and business communication is very important. And also there will be machine learning research. For you, you will be focused on the algorithm employment. So you will focus on the Python, C, or Java. And also you could be a machine learning engineer. As a machine learning engineer, you will focus on the data pipelines, model deployment, automation, and reproducibilities. Okay. And the last one will be the data science product manager. So you will be a data owner. You will be need to know like a data ownership, product strategy, data-driven product design, and the project management. So that's why we do the career switch. You do able to leverage some of your previous working experience to connect to the data science like position, right? So it means like you may already have some sort of experience, like not the technical side, but more focused on the like a soft skill. You may have some experience already, which you only miss is the technical and experience. Okay. So machine learning is part of the responsibilities as a data scientist, and the data scientists need to be good at SQL visualization and communications. Okay. So for the tools, you are using Linux. For the coding, you will be Linux, and the programming will be SQL, and the database you're gonna use SQL to load the data, and for the Python, you will use for the create maybe a function or class to do like a programming language. For the version control, you will be use the GitHub. For the platform, you have to know cloud platforms such as AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud Platform. For the big data, you have to be very comfortable with Hadoop and Spark. And the containerizations will be Docker. For the machine learning, the math, you will be know the library like NumPy, SciPy. And for the visualization, you have to know like explorations. You have to know pandas, matplotlib, Seaborn, Plotly, and etc. For the machine learning, but the basic machine learning will be scikit-learn and the imbalanced learn. For the feature preparations, pandas, and deep learning like TensorFlow, PyCharm, and for the NLP, there will be like lots of like a popular NLP libraries like a Gizem and Spicy and NLTK, and also there are Hugging Faces and the other BART is very popular at this moment. Storytellings, you have to using the visualizations tools such as Tableau, Power BI, or Python library. For the presentations, you are using the PowerPoint, Excel, and also for the use cases, you have to know when we talk about use cases, like in the different industry, there will be different like use cases. For example, for the financial or banking, maybe risk, and for the retail industry, there will be different like maybe the recommender system, or there could be like a forecasting, and for the telecom, maybe the customer churn, etc. So you do have to have experience, which you will get from your personal project or from the real client project. Okay. So let me skip off that and let me jump to the data job market and let me pass over to Alex.
All right. So just before I go into the job market and some trends and analysis we uncovered, I'd first like to talk a little bit about our methodology and our approach. So basically, what we've been doing is we've been scraping a jobs posting website, which will temporarily go unnamed. But in that scrape, we've extensively, scoured it to obtain all the sort of the most relevant information, including stuff like salary, experience, location, and all the sort of finer details of descriptions in terms of what skills employers are looking for, both soft skill and technical. And to that extent, we feel like we've amassed sort of an extensive and harvested an extensive amount of information such that we could really go in depth on a lot of things. And this this approach and this scrape of the site has also provided it is the source of the jobs report. But in addition to that, it also serves as content for a blog, and I'm that blog writer. But I would so the first blog came out last month, and if I would encourage you guys to check it out, and maybe if there's enough time, I will go into that, because in that blog we essentially took the whole North American market and did a breakdown of it by the various job types. And I think I mentioned earlier on in the presentation that we sort of categorize them around four main jobs, and those would be the data analyst, data scientist, data engineer, and the machine learning engineer. And then from there, we proceeded to do, based on the data, a breakdown of what employers were looking for in terms of educational requirements, in terms of skills. And then obviously we took a look at salaries, not only at the average salaries of each respective position, but we also tiered the various jobs based on salary. So we took the top 25, 25 after that, so the middle range, the top 25, and all of which was to sort of, and then we sort of looked at skills and comparisons to those jobs and the sort of the top tier jobs and the skills that the employers were asking for those top tier jobs in their respective job type. And what it ultimately revealed is, just by way of a summary, but again, I do encourage you to check it out, and I guess I can send the link shortly. But what it ultimately uncovered, especially with those engaging at the top tier and top tier salaries, you definitely see a movement towards the existing trend, right, is going to big data and more AI. And again, I do encourage you to check it out. But for the purposes of this blog, because the previous blog was so general in terms of, while it did create like sort of specific information, and it was general in the sense that it was covering the entire North American market, and we didn't really have an opportunity to go a little bit more granular. And in this particular blog that is shortly to come out, what we did is we took a look at a local market and then compared it to the rest of North America. So that local market in this particular iteration was the Toronto market, largely because I think there's a good many of us from Toronto, and I'm from Toronto. So I mentioned in the blog it might be a little self-serving, but we also wanted to just see the health, vibrancy, of a local market, compare it against any general trends that might be happening within the larger sense, and see if this particular market, Toronto in this case, was an outlier to those trends or was in step with them. And then again, for those of you who aren't in Toronto, you will get a sense of the market in the general sense, because we do compare it, the North American market with Toronto. So one of the questions we wanted to ask and we look into for local markets is, well, how big is the local market? And in this case, the answer for Toronto is fairly big, actually. It's by job postings. It had the third most postings, following only New York and Washington. And in that respect, it even managed to beat out San Francisco. I will also say that this data that we are about to look at consists of just 2 months worth of data. So we looked at August and September. So that said, I think everything that I'm about to say should be taken with a grain of salt, having only 2 months to operate from. But I think some of the data is very reliable, and at the very least, something to the conclusions of which are something to sort of really just take note and monitor. And we certainly will in the coming months. But that said, you can see here that New York and Washington are the biggest players, with Toronto coming in third. And to that extent, it makes sense that Toronto would come in third, because Toronto is I believe it's the fourth largest North American city, and it's certainly a tech hub for Toronto, not to mention a financial hub. So it certainly makes sense that Toronto is. And then you can see some, definitely San Francisco, you assume that's there, as well. And then rounding out the sort of larger markets is Seattle, Austin, Chicago, Atlanta, Boston, and Dallas for the following 2 months anyway. Adam, if you can just change the slide there. So ultimately, what we wanted to do, I guess, first and foremost, was take a look at salary and to see, well, if it is a big market, does it pay to be in that big market? It's not necessarily enough that you offer a number of jobs, but what does the compensation look like for those particular jobs? And just I guess, a word of warning, it can be difficult to acquire salary information from a website or job scraping job websites. A lot of the postings aren't forthcoming and don't include a salary. And in general, we have of all the job postings we captured in general about 40% of them that indicated salary. But this is particularly, Toronto was particularly scarce with the amount of job postings that indicated a salary, like particularly scarce. And what I mean by that is, if the rest of North America had about a 40% clip, Toronto had a 13% clip. So again, they weren't very forthcoming with the salary information. So again, even the salary information needs to be taken with a grain of salt, because it reduces the sample size, and we're already working with a sort of reduced sample size, given that Toronto is obviously going to contain less job postings than, and as we shortly see, the rest of North America. But from what we do have within the last 2 months worth of data, we do see that Toronto is a fairly good market to work in with respect to compensation, since it outperforms the rest of North America at these given quantile ranges, particularly from the 25th, 50th, and 75th percentile. The only exception being, I guess, at the 100th percentile, where I guess the extreme outliers for salary lie, and I would not be surprised to see those coming from those major markets like New York or San Francisco. But ultimately, it does look fairly, sorry, it does look fairly positive with respect to compensation. And again, you can see here, this is encapsulating, sorry. This is, I should turn that off. This is encapsulating all of the data science jobs in aggregate. But typically what we can see here is that if we break down those jobs by those, if we break down the data jobs by those 4 types, again, data analyst, data scientist, engineer, and machine learning engineer, what we find is on average, at least for the 2 months worth of data, that the average salary for a data analyst is $78,000. The next highest average salary is data engineers at 106. And I think there's a question coming in about see the slides. No, I can provide them a little later. They're just in an existing notebook that I couldn't manage to secure. But ultimately, 77,000 for data analysts, 106,000 for data engineers, 110,000 average salary for data scientists, and machine learning engineers earn the highest average salary at $138,000. I'll sort of speak on that a little bit more in the ensuing clips when we take a look at the highest average salary per city. But Adam, if we can switch over to the next slides. Yeah, so here's the average salary, highest average salary, because again, we wanted to look at where Toronto fit with respect to its average salary, so beyond the quantile ranges. And what we see here is it sort of holds its own in 5th place. And here, it's, for me anyway, no surprise that San Francisco and Seattle hold the first 2 positions for reasons we'll shortly see. But in the end, it's not a bad showing for Toronto, given that it is a Canadian city and it does face, a good degree of competition. But I'll point out reasons why certainly the Seattle and San Francisco remain higher with, the highest average salaries. San Francisco's exceeding about 144,000. Adam, if you want to, I'm a little surprised that LA didn't make the list, given that it is so popular, or sorry, rather like popular. The population is so huge. But it remains to be seen what is happening there, and I could look into that directly because I was surprised. But the next thing we wanted to do was look at the trends in terms of job numbers. And ultimately what we see is, again, over 2 months, we see a reduction in the amount of job postings in North America. But this is sort of, if this is a trend, then Toronto is leading it with a 30% reduction in the number of job postings. Again, we'll see how that translates into the next month, but it's definitely not a trend you want to lead. Adam, if you want to next clip. Here you can see the sort of the figures for the North American monthly jobs numbers and the Toronto monthly jobs numbers. And these are broken down by, again, those various job titles. So if you can see here in the month of August, it's interestingly enough, it's down across the board with respect to every position, data analyst, data engineer, data scientist, and machine learning engineer from the previous month. Although the machine learning engineer in the North American market doesn't have as steep a drop off, perhaps. And over in the Toronto market, everything dropped across the board except for data scientists. And they were pretty much even in terms of the number of postings from month to month. So again, like to see what happens next month, but I do find it interesting that that is leveled off. Adam, do you want to next clip? So the other thing we wanted to do was look at the local market and see, well, who was hiring and how did that, who were the sort of the big players in the local market, and then who were the big players across North America. And in North America, you can see, well, the tech giants really are figure prominently in that top 10. Sure, there's some financial related businesses like Deloitte and Capital One, but you could see Apple by leading far and away. But there's Amazon, Google, and TikTok that round out the top 10. In Toronto, we don't really see the presence, at least not as prominently, of those tech giants. What you do see is banking and financial services of one kind or another taking up basically the top 5. TD, Royal Bank, Jerry's insurance company, and EY and Afterpay offer some sort of consulting on financial services. And then some educational elements like the University of Toronto and healthcare. And then finally, at the very end, we have a telecommunications company, TELUS. But if we break that down further, and if we can see the next clip, the thought was it's interesting to find out, well, if these companies are hiring in their postings, then what jobs are they posting for? Adam, if you want to do the next clip. Yeah. So here it's particularly interesting and something I wanted to say, although I couldn't, I don't have the, I will get the clip shortly, but it's really interesting because the big tech giants are going hard on machine learning engineering. You can see Apple. I mean, it's just by far, it looks like at least 4/5 of their postings were concerned with machine learning engineering. Google almost exclusively machine learning engineering. Amazon still more than any other job type, and certainly TikTok. Canada, that is not as pronounced. In fact, in some cases, like in case of the TD Bank, you don't even see them posting for machine learning engineer positions. And you can also see that, yeah, it's not, it's certainly not as prevalent in the Toronto market as it is with the big tech companies. Now, all of which is to say, when we take a look at this sort of jobs analysis, and again, if we have time left over, I would love to take you through the previous blog to give you a sort of greater indication. What we see is Toronto is a extremely viable market for data science jobs, certainly in comparison to the rest of North America, and in many cases a front runner amongst the largest markets in North America. But ultimately, we have to temper that with the sense that these numbers are only 2 months, and the sample size is probably not as large as we'd like. But ultimately, we see that that despite its sort of prominent position in the market, it doesn't seem to be making the move as readily towards this desire for machine learning engineering in the way some of these larger companies within North America are. And certainly what I meant to say is within some of these cities. And the reason why San Francisco ended up having the highest salary average was that it's disproportionately looking for machine learning engineers, as is Seattle. So that being the highest average salary, it obviously it bumps up their numbers. So that is to say, it's not that a data scientist gets paid more in San Francisco than it does in Toronto or Boston. Not really. It's the fact that the higher salaried positions in the data science space, like machine learning engineering, are the ones that are being sought after by these cities and by these bigger corporations, tech corporations. In any event, I will turn it over to Adam, who will have some words to say on technical skills. But again, if there's time, feel free to ask me any and all questions, and I would again love to sort of go over the initial blog. And while Adam's speaking, I will provide you with the post, or with the website to the blog.
Thank you, Alex. There are some questions from audience. Do you want to respond to questions in the chat?
Sure, yeah. Let me just see. Cindy, so yeah, that's an interesting question. What's the work environment as data scientist roles, remote, hybrid, or in office? Can I do machine learning role with the data science boot camp? A couple of questions in there I'd like to unpack. Firstly, when I presented the cities, there is also a category within the cities of remote, and by far remote was the highest posting. So we're seeing a huge number of positions that are asking just non-specific. They are asking or indicating that these positions can be done remotely, so anywhere in the world. In terms of the question, can I do a machine learning role with a data science boot camp? It depends what you mean by a machine learning role. Certainly in terms of utilizing machine learning, it's predictive algorithms and models. You certainly can do that. I did through the data science boot camp. If you mean machine learning sort of more towards the engineering front and the pipelines and deployment, then in that case, I probably steer you towards machine learning engineering. But that is to say, I think it behooves anyone entering that space to have a fairly good background and familiarity with just machine learning and modeling. Hope that answered the question. If not, you can feel free to post it in the chat. SB, the number of jobs is not even 10% of the US markets. The number of jobs, I'm not sure
Yeah, I think the US have like way more opportunities, like companies can.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The Toronto jobs in terms of like the US market. Yeah, absolutely. It's in terms of the Canadian offerings, essentially we're looking probably at three and a half markets. We're looking at Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, and I guess the Calgary too is sort of emerging also. But there's certainly a larger, much larger pool of jobs in the US. That's for sure. Augusto, is this trend of job posts related in any way to the growth of analytics positions within companies? I mean, are are these jobs going anywhere in the trend of job posts? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'd have to look into that. I would be just speculation on my part. A question, if big tech is looking for machine learning engineers, then what are startups looking for? Yeah, that would be an interesting question, and I think it would be an opportunity to go sort of for me into that sort of more granular direction by looking at these companies and the degree to which they're established or startup. But I will make a note of that because again, just a plethora of data and from which to draw from that. It's you can sort of really go fine on one. And that's a good question with respect to, because I suspect this is, I mean, again, this is just something I suspect, but um, startups are obviously more agile. And to the extent that the winds of change blow in one direction, startups can manage that change more efficiently than larger corporations that just, let's just say, aren't tech companies. So in that sense, I'm not surprised to see larger companies not. I think the trend is towards machine learning engineering, based on, everything we're experiencing now with generative AI and large language models. But again, the larger the company, or sort of, I was thinking, but the larger the ship, it's like harder to, change course and adapt. But ultimately, what I suspect is, and the thing I'm looking for most when I do these reports and look at the data, is the degree to which the machine learning engineering role is or is not increasing. Because typically speaking, consistently for at least 2 months, data analyst jobs have always been the most plentiful, and machine learning engineering jobs have always had the fewest amount of postings. And it wasn't even close between first and last. What I suspect will happen is we will start in the coming months, we'll start to see the numbers certainly for machine learning engineering creeping up. But again, remains it's a trend that I think will continue just based on what's happening in the tech space right now. There is a question, machine learning engineers is as it shows on the chart. Not sure what that meant. Or Cindy, maybe you were referencing something, I'm not sure. Oh, this is a good question, actually. So Mosin Khan has asked a question: number of projects required to get into data jobs. It's really important to do a project related to finance industry to get into TD or RBC. I guess Adam might have something to say on this, but this is sort of the real benefit, I think, anyway, of WeCloudData and their boot camp, because it does offer its graduates real client projects. And I wanted to make a distinction for anybody that there's real client projects and there's projects, right? Or like projects might be another word for your own personal portfolio, or the the interest you take in a particular subject, and then work up a model, or sort of just to have that in your portfolio. It's never going to be as effective as actually working on a real client project, or because it is the thing that gives you the experience, where employers can see that this had tangible results and that it existed in a workplace ecosystem, and had an effect there on it. So with respect to there's always that dilemma, or that catch-22, where when you want to, you need experience to get a job, but you can't get a job because you don't have experience. I think the strength of the boot camp is that it solves that issue in part anyway, because it gives its grads the opportunity to work on real client projects. I had that opportunity. And I think that more than anything, will certainly more than portfolio projects will get you in the door and interviewed. And to the extent that you want to work in a particular area like finance or retail, the projects offer you the opportunity to work and exercise and develop your skills in that area, because at any number of times there are projects coming down the pipe that are retail based or have a financial component, and where those interests meet your own, ultimately the idea is to pair you with that, especially if you've expressed interest in working within a particular industry. But short of that, I do think that you should do portfolio projects. I do think that at the end of the day, it's you do have something to present, and you do acquire ultimate familiarity with the topics when you engage with them. Let's see. Brendan says, I'm still learning Python and such, but what interests me is machine learning research, specifically for things like drug design. I'm wondering how ML research salaries compare to production data science, ML engineering. I'm wondering the same thing. We have a category that sort of specifies more acutely like which position you hold as a data scientist, but we're ultimately hoping to build an interactive dashboard that allows you to see all those variations, and then compares and gives salary information, as well as other things with that particular job. But for the purposes of sort of generalizing over the jobs, we confine it to just those 4 types. So I don't know, but it's a good question. John says, it looks like the combination of Python plus SQL is a must, but it's not clear really what is the bare minimum knowledge of Python and SQL to land an entry-level data science job. I'm thinking, what is the good enough criteria? I will say this, and we do have, I think, later on in the slides, a presentation on the skills that are sought after for each respective position. Certainly for data scientists, machine learning engineering, and data engineering, you are going to see Python and SQL figure prominently. But the question of what's an acceptable standard is interesting in the age that we are sort of emerging into now with the likes of ChatGPT and, let's just say, large language models that make coding a little easier in that they provide it to you. I heard a crazy stat that most of the code on GitHub is generated through an LLM of some kind or another. I don't know where they got that number, but I wouldn't be surprised. And the thought would be that the active coding of Python skills, let's just say it remains to be seen what will become of those skills, given that large language models like ChatGPT sort of equalize the playing field. And what I mean by that, and I saw a study come out in which you had more seasoned data professionals who didn't use any of these tools like ChatGPT, and sort of more novice data professionals who used it a fair bit. And what it did was it sort of equalized the quality of the output. So it's sort of, in some sense, the effects of it are still sort of ultimately going to be unfolding, but initially I think we can conclude it has the effect of like democratizing the market, in that you are now, there's more of a sort of there's less of a barrier to entry because of the assistance of these large language models. Cindy, based on what I understand, machine learning requires focus on machine learning models, and data science bootcamp doesn't go deep into it. So the data science bootcamp has I'll speak for the WeCloudData Science Bootcamp, having participated in that. That has a sort of fairly substantial portion of it is focuses on machine learning, and to that extent it does give you the tools from which to branch out. So it covers basically, regression and classification. Ultimately, it goes into deep learning and big data. But you do learn the fundamentals of machine learning in a very meaningful way, in which you can certainly apply those skills fairly quickly in your job search. And I say that just by way of like encountering students who did not have a coding background or a machine learning background. And in some cases, I'm just sort of thinking of one of the students landed a senior data scientist position. Again, so it's certainly the position allows you to enter the job. The curriculum of the bootcamp, I think, allows you to enter the job market fairly quickly. The real client projects obviously help that, because again, it's experience you can put on your resume, and then you can apply for positions within, like, as we put it, sort of the operational data scientists. So it won't necessarily be in the research, but it'll be in the sort of like the application of like incorporating and using models. But those for those research positions, those are generally all taken by PhDs in the field and stuff. But you can certainly, there is a good focus on the machine learning component, and a strong one in that you can go and apply for jobs fairly soon thereafter. Dan, you're asking, you wanted me to clarify. So the job postings in these major cities had a high percentage of those jobs that were listed as remote. What percentage? I will have to check because I omitted it because I just wanted to focus on like geographical. I can get that answer actually fairly shortly. I'll look into it. Because I think I have the notebook here. How important is math for data analyst roles? If yes, what top 5 topics to focus on? I think math is generally the focus is more is greater in the data science space. I can't really speak to the curriculum for the data analyst position. I haven't I didn't go through that, but my understanding is anyway that the heavy math component is done in the data science space, or at least the emphasis on math, things like linear algebra and statistics. Oh, okay. Cindy appreciated my answer. Thank you. Right. Let me see. Okay, perfect. Yeah, Ryan was saying not much math. I didn't think so either, but I didn't want to talk out of turn. Okay. If there's no further questions, I'll turn it over to Adam.
Okay, thank you, Alex, for answering these questions. I think that's really good questions because as a career switcher or want to apply for the job, you definitely want to looking forward what kind of skills. So like how to measure like if you're good enough to go to the job market. So that's why we are looking into the technical skills, right? For the data analysis, first of all, the top one skill will be SQL, which means like in terms of how to, the purpose of the SQL is for you to connect the data. So in the modern like world, like every data is more centralized. Most of the cases it's been saved in the cloud, such as AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud Platform. That's why you will see on this list you will find the cloud, Azure, AWS list on this like top skills, like technical skills. The reason is for SQL is for you to load the data. You can do some ETL or ELT. So we use the SQL to do the like a programming language. Most of the case, because of structure of data, you may not use Python as the analysis, but you do have to have very strong knowledge with SQL and also the Excel. The visualization tools is how as their analysis, the main role is for you to help manage make info decisions and understand what and why. So that's why very important for you to use Tableau or Power BI to create a dashboard to explain. Could be the KPI, could be the like the trends or anything like that is bring the insight to the company or analysis using that dashboard to help you to explain yourself. So Tableau, Power BI is extremely important. And also then what we follow on with Python. R will be now that popular compared with SQL Python because the majority community will be still using the either SQL or Python. For the data scientist, you will find there's different data science will be more focused on the Python rather than SQL, but still in the most of the case, I would say SQL and Python are equivalent important as data scientists. As mentioned, the SQL mainly for you to load the data, same as Python. Python, you can do the ETL, ELT, and also you can connect to API. And also there will be so many libraries for you to use to manipulate data and create a dashboard. Since the Python has so many libraries and you not really rely on the Tableau or Power BI, but still the Tableau and Power BI is very important as data scientists. But there will be so many libraries you can use in the Python to do the visualization. And as data scientists, you want to get the faster response or faster result using the Python, Tableau, or Power BI. You do have to have the data saved in the CSV file, or Excel file, or other formats, which is not very convenient when you do the data transformations or when you want to create a new information use current data. But in Python, it's more easier for you to do go back and make some changes and then do another visualization to understand the data. So Python, SQL will be the two of the most important language as data scientists. Still, R is on the third importance. But still, if you know how to use Python and SQL, you do able to land the job. You don't have to know R. For the platform, you still need to know the cloud, and such as AWS, Spark, Azure. Spark is more for the big data, and TensorFlow for the TensorFlow, PyCharm for the deep learning, and Pandas is more for you to wrangling data. Okay. As data engineer, you can see it's slightly different. Except SQL and the Python, you do need to know lots of visualizations. It's more focused on the cloud, like AWS, Azure. So you will do create the data pipeline, make the data available for the different departments, such as data scientists or data analysis. Your goal is to build up the pipelines and the data models to supply data from BI and the DS usage. Okay, so machine learning engineer, I will say that will be more senior data scientist or more higher tier. If you are new to the data scientist or new to the data, machine learning engineer maybe not the best option for you because you do have experience or knowledge before you join the machine learning engineer bootcamp. So other than Python, Cloud, you more focus on the deep learning. So that's why you see the PyCharm, TensorFlow are on the top of the list. And also there are Docker, Kubernetes, and NLP. So that's probably slightly different. But again, so as a beginner, if you know it's going to be very hard for you to become data a machine learning engineer if you don't have enough working experience or you don't have enough knowledge with machine learning. Okay, for the years experience requirement as data analysis, most of job it only require you have less than 3 years experience. So 23 to 24%. It's for 1 or 2 years or 3 years, which means more than 70% job. only require that you have less than 3 years, which means for all the career switcher, or if you want to upskill yourself, you can apply these jobs, which means you don't have to have tons of experience, or you don't have to be in this field for a long time to land a job at data analysis. It's same trend from as data scientist. So less than 3 years, it still will be the majority job requirements on the job market. The reason why there will be only required 3 years, because every year, or every new tech coming out, as data scientists, you have to learn technique or new skills, which means some skills for more than 3 years, you have to refresh yourself. So that's why you see the majority, they don't really looking for someone who have lots of experience, except as I was mentioned, a machine learning engineer or senior or lead or director, they do require experience. But for the most of company, the new company, startup company, they don't need someone who have lots of experience. First of all, the salary is way more higher. Secondly, it will be required. It will meet their demands. If you have lots of experience, you probably want to go to the manager positions, director, or go to the fund, Facebook, Amazon, Twitter, X or X. So Netflix. So this company they do need to have lots of people, has lots of tech background, and be able to fit in the teams. Data engineer is still a similar trend. Some of them they do require more than 5 years experience. We do see there some company are straightforward to mention you do have 5 years. I think the reason for data engineer more the company require longer experience, because data engineer job is not going to be it's not really affected by the new technology, because data engineer is the skill, as long as you have knowledge to build up a pipeline. So if there's new tools coming out, it's easier for you to transfer your knowledge or learn new tools fairly fast, because logic is always the same. It's only matters if you apply for the different tools to apply to your work. But same as machine learning, very similar to as a data engineer. So some people, some of the company prefer have 3 years or 5 years experience, just because machine learning is more senior positions, and you do need some machine learning experience or knowledge before you to become a machine learning engineer. Okay, I do see there are some questions in the chat. So yes, I do have a chart to show the remote job. There is a graph. You can see the majority, if we group by the cities, and you will find the majority is all still offer you remote job. So that's the number of job posts if it's a remote, and then it's followed along by the cities. So majority still will be remote, and but there's a new for lots of company now they are required either hybrid or in person. But still, if you want to have a remote job in the data field, there's still lots of a position. They are offer you a remote job. Yeah. So, but still, depends on your actually when you go to the interview or when you apply for the job, it doesn't really matter if it's remote or not. It's more for you to the best strategy is stay in this field as long as possible. And even it's required in person and you prefer in remote, but still you should try to apply that job. Okay, so and also for the average salaries, and we can see from the Indeed, and the average salary at data scientist in United States is 124. So in our data, it's slightly different, but it's very similar. Like instead of like 124, because we remove a little bit outlier, so it's 116 for the data scientist. And for the machine learning engineer, the salary you will expect is 138, and data engineer will be 110, and the data analysis will be 77,000. But still, this is in the United States, like so the dollar, the salary is based on the US dollars. I think the most of people are facing some challenges. I think the hardest part is people have trouble to get through the interview. I think that's the. Let me just check the questions. Okay, I think that's also going to be talk about the previous questions. So what's the minimum knowledge about SQL Python to learn entry-level data scientist job? Or what's the top 5 topics to be focused on? Or what's the and also we have another questions, and what's the number of projects required to get into the data jobs? Okay, I think that's a really good question. And first of all, you have to know you have to reach the minimum requirement. You have to know SQL Python. You have to have enough knowledge about machine learning, big data if you want to apply data scientist. And different positions have different requirements, and they have different tech stack. But still, even though you have that knowledge, or you do think you have enough experience with the project, but in terms of interview, you will always find you are lack of interview opportunities. So majority, 76% people only receive 0 to 1 interview a year this year, and 20% 2 to 4, and only 4% receive more than 5 interviews. Okay, so and also, what's the biggest challenge to land a job? Most of the people said they lack of real experience, and half of the candidate mentioned a lack of technical skills. Could be technical skills or soft skills, and also 40% don't have a portfolio, and another 15% couldn't pass interview. I think that's gonna be very real challenges for the most most of people, including the career switcher or new to the industry. So because this is something we don't get it from the university, and so for your biggest challenges, as you can see, there are requirements like the how to big data or the TensorFlow, which is not going to be covered in the other universities or other bootcamp, but in the WeCloudData we do cover it to help you to get through that experience or knowledge. So that's the example about the portfolio project. Actually, this one's a clone project. So for example, we have a clone. They require you to a clone project to develop a web applications for a Toronto Star. The main features and the system architectures demonstrations below. That's just example for one of our students, like work on real clone project. Yeah, so I think that the most of the thing we learn from the bootcamp is I was is in the perfect world. You don't have challenge, you have don't have like the motivations. So it's gonna be very hard for you to use that to go to the interview. But if you have the real world experience, you can talk about like for example, I have I do have experience with a with like a create a recommender system and by using AWS. So I using the AWS to start some EC2 instance, and by using Airflow, you can, for example, I scrape the data from Indeed, and then I will store all the data into the EC2. So based on the model we create in the like machine learning, like recommender system models. Based on that, we will use that to apply this data, and then we will send that recommend data job to the students. So that's just examples how you're gonna explain so how this project it is, right? So you have the business like problem is create a job track and recommender system, and how you can use it. You will use an EC2, AWS EC2 and Airflow to do the automatations, and also you have machine learning model to help you to send the recommendations. So that's just example for you to differentiate yourself between the personal project and the real climb projects, because real climb projects more like the working experience. Portfolio projects more like experiments, right? In the perfect world, but you're not able to evaluate how good your portfolio project it is, because in the real clone project, the clone will be give you the instructions or have communications that you know which part should be improved. Yeah. So there are some examples for our clone, and we work with, including Samsung, Global Mail, and Mars, and also we have some company from United States as well. So there will be no more like Kaggle project because that's the like a personal project. And you will gain real client experience through the consulting and help clients solve the real problem. That's going to be a big impact for you to put on your resume and help you to go through the interview. Okay, so just examples. So on the on the most of the students like from WeCloud compare with the on the market. So after the real climb project, and we have like 40% students receive more than 5 interviews, and 38% students are alumni to receive like 2 to 4 interviews, and 20% receive like 0 to 1 interviews. So you can see there will be a huge boost for you to get interview opportunities from 4% to 40%. So which means working experience gonna help you to go through your interview. And the real climb project will be 6 months support, and also including the resume, polish the resumes, and also we will have some internal referrals because we are constantly share some job posts because we have lots of alumni and the relationship with other companies. So we do have some referral from alumni and other companies. We will post in the channel with our students. And I think with some of students get job by the referral. So we also have the mock interview. It's done by our alumni. And also they will provide mentorship and help you with the salary negotiation. And for everyone knows, career switch to data scientist or data analysis or data engineer is not an easy job. So you have to do some research. Let me make example as data scientist. First of all, in the different company, they require different domain knowledge. When you build up a model, because you will learn many models in the bootcamp. But when you apply for the job, when you want to connect to the companies, and you have to use your experience, right? So some company, for example, in the financial or the banking system, and in the same department, like they may have different teams. Maybe there's a team for doing the forecasting. For example, they are forecasting maybe the stock price. Another team doing the fraud detections. So they will create a different model to detect to help reduce the risk. And another department working on the recommender system. So which means you don't have to know all these three models, all three this domain knowledge to land a job. So you just need to get one expert or experience with that one particular area, then you should be able to land a job. So please do your research, find your personal interest, or find what's your experience with, right? So you can use that to apply the job. And also you have to follow a structured curriculum. I think the learning is going to be very important. When I say that is important, you have to learn it. First of all, you have to learn it efficiently. Secondly, you have to complete this learning journey. The reason is like in some cases, when you try to learn something, you will find you don't have enough guidance. You're not sure where to start, and also you're not sure how to evaluate your knowledge, if that's good enough, or this will be enough knowledge for you to go through the interview. So our curriculum is very structured, so it will give you enough knowledge to pass the interview, especially for the technical side. But still, there will be lots of self-learning involved. And also, if you not sure if the bootcamp is good for you, I will recommend you just give a try to see if that's the right, try for one day to see if the right fit for you. And also, mentor can give you a good guidance because in the bootcamp or in the when you want to learn something, there are a tons of things you can learn. You don't, as mentioned, you don't have to know everything. So as long you know enough for you to land a job, and then you should narrow down your focus on particular, maybe the project or area, right? Don't focus on to learn everything with coding. Then start with the job search or learn all the use cases on the market, then try to land a job. So it's very important for you to narrow down your directions and find the right maybe the jobs or positions for you to apply. And also work on hands-on projects, and also build a portfolio and keep applying for the jobs. And also tailor your resume. And we notice students, lots of people, they don't have polished resume, and the resume stop stop you from to get an interview. And the last thing will be patient. I will say like sometimes you have to be a little bit patient or be a little bit luck to land a job, because we do have lots of students able to land job in 3 months, but still the majority of students able to land job in 6 months. So be patient is very important. You don't want to rush yourself to the job market, and even though you receive interview, but you're not ready for the interview, it will be very frustrating, and if you not able to pass, but it happens. So be patient, try go through the interview and try to apply several, and you will land your job sooner or later. Okay, and also keep learning. So I think I will try to answer some questions. I have questions about average salary in Toronto. For average salary in Toronto as data scientist, it should be 85,000 in Canadian dollars. It will be that's the average, but our student always start from 85,000 like Canadian dollars as data scientist. Same as a data engineer will be 80,000. Data analysis will be 65,000. Even though it's average in Toronto, but it's our start salary for our students. It will be lower compared with the US, because first of all, there will be lots of like higher tier positions in United States, so that's why the average is higher. But most of case, the start salary you are looking for will be like 85 for data scientists in Canada or US. In Canada, it will be in the Canadian dollars. In US will be US dollars. And also have questions from Christine. Do you guys have any data for consulting contract position example, if you want to work for yourself? So we do have a consulting company called WeCloudData, but we not like it's not a contract position, which means like you can join this client project and you will learn from that positions, and as an entry level or as a beginner, especially for someone has no background, you actually you're not really able to produce like too much values. Was the goal to join the client project is for you to learn the experience, and also when you get enough knowledge, you will have opportunity to get interview and pass interview. So yeah, so we have consulting company, but it's not for like contract position. It's more for you to get experience and from no working experience from data field to become like a experienced like a data specialist.
So Adam, just if I could add on to what you said and maybe further clarify what happens after the boot camp with the real client projects, and by way of what you ultimately include on your resume is, so the graduates from the boot camp go to the consulting company, which is Beam Data, and when they do so, they become data science consultants. And that's the position that you will ultimately write on your resume, the company Beam Data, and then the experience will fill out by way of the projects that you worked on. I always plug the projects, largely because I feel like I benefited greatly from that. And just by way of sort of giving greater context and greater sort of greater introduction to myself, I guess like many of you was a career switcher, and my background was certainly not the conventional background. It was more in film and television. And my educational background consisted of something entirely different from STEM, right? Any of the STEM fields. But I came into the program. I thought it was really good. But I was always a little nervous of the client projects, just because, I guess that comes with a lack of familiarity in the field. And there's a point in the boot camp where you can sort of specify which client projects that you'd like to have the opportunity to work on. And there was always a client project for a major media publisher. And I was like, well, no, that I didn't feel as though, I don't know, there's still some degree of imposter syndrome going. So I wanted to stay away from that project as much as I could, because it seemed really involved. And I was like, oh, dealt with recommender systems. And I thought, well, that's a little bit, I'm punching a little bit above my weight. So I took another real client project, and having the opportunity to do that, funny thing happened is that, you sort of gain familiarity, but with familiarity, you gain confidence. And it was to such an extent that when I started participating in my second real client project, the project manager for that real client project for that major media publisher actually called me up and said, "Are you interested in taking this position?" And inevitably, I did, and it was an amazing experience. It was fantastic to put on my resume, and at the end of the day, it was just sort of like, if I track my knowledge and my skill set and what I knew of this industry before the boot camp, then after the boot camp, there was a great degree of familiarity with it. But then from the real client projects to its completion on the second one, I thought the learning experience there was amazing. And then, not to speak of all the sort of like the benefits of, actually having, like being able to put down things on your resume so that employers can see that you've actually worked in that space. But yeah, sorry. Just wanted to add that on.
Okay, thank you, Alex. And also, we have one of candidates. We have one audience asking the replacement rate. So our replacement rate for 2021 is 91%. And and also I will post some LinkedIn from students who graduated earlier this year. I think earlier this year, we have about 75 to 80% replacement rate for students who graduate earlier this year. So I just post some examples, and you can look into their. For example, let me just click one of the students, Anna, who joined our full-time bootcamp, and yeah, she joined our bootcamp and graduates actually at January, and then she joined our data science big data as data science consultant 2022 December, and she only take 2 months to land the job. So that's just one example to show you what's the benefit our student gets from the real client project, and also now she working as I think she from United States, and she to be able to land a job like one of the fastest students. But still, not all students land job in 3 months. You do need some luck and also some experience as well. Another student I will share with you is just another demo, Gita, and she joined. Actually, most of students who should be officially in the BIM data at January. So technically she land job in 6 months, and now she are a global data analysis. Yeah, so you can read their successful story and to learn how they land job and fast and using by joining our bootcamp and go to the real client projects. Yeah, we do have curriculums on our website. I'll be sure that's in the chat. So if you are very interested to our programs, and you could go to our website, WeCloudData.com. Let me share you the curriculum for the data analysis bootcamp. So here, here is the curriculum. Let me share you the link. Let's just quick go through. So we will teaching Excel, and then we will teaching SQL. Excel is I think it's one of the most popular software, even though it's been in industry for like 20 or 30 years, but Excel is still very popular. And also we will teach you SQL, including tools like Diagrams, MySQL, Snowflake, and Postgres. And also we will teach you the Python and the Tableau, Power BI, and also the industry use case you will learn during this journey, and also portfolio workshop. So and also there will be some coding interview practice in the BI program. So if you're interested, you can leave your email, and I can ask someone to reach out to you to explain detail with you. Okay, same as our data science bootcamp. So we have most of the program is part-time. For now, we have data science bootcamp is full-time, and we have diploma. If you want to get a diploma as data scientist, you can join the full-time bootcamp. For the certificate, you can join our BI or like a part-time data science part-time bootcamp. So you will receive certificate. And also have a question, is it possible to land a job in US while we are located in Toronto? I think we have students, but still the challenge is not about how to apply a job in United States, how you can get a working permit. So as long as you're able to get working permit, and I think there's no problem for you to apply for a job in United States. And also, Cindy mentioned, how do I sign up a day in a bootcamp to try it out, to know who's the instructor for data science bootcamp, and can have a chance to glimpse past the lesson videos footage. Yes, of course. So if you can send me your emails, and I do able to add you to a free trial to join our bootcamp and see how that goes. Yes, and I have other questions. Yeah, so we will post the recording. If you join late, we will post the recording on the YouTube. What if you already have experience but are looking to get the certifications of partial skill? Can you start in more advanced courses? Yeah, so we do have, depends on your yeah, it really depends on your knowledge, right? So we have, if you want upskill from BI, you can join the data science bootcamp. If you want to boost your knowledge from DS, you can join our DevOps, our machine learning engineer bootcamp. And also we have AI bootcamp. So if you want to upskill yourself, and you can, again, so if you have interest, you can, yeah, actually I can let our advisor reach out to you to find which is the best for you. I think if you have some experience, maybe the AI bootcamp is most popular at this moment. I think we are the first bootcamp to introduce the AI program. So we're gonna let me just quick go through the curriculum for the AI. First of all, you will, because we do teaching the deep learning in the data science bootcamp, but we will go like there were like more deeper in the AI program. So we will talk about the neural networks and deep learnings, and also there will be computer vision, NLP. So there will be very trained like language models. So we will teach. You can see we are using the ChatGPT 3, and also we will use the Hugging Face, and you can see there will be some popular like a NLP language like a BART. So, and also actually, if you go to our report, you will notice like when you're looking on the top of the list, the NLP is being listed. Let me just share. So NLP actually is the list actually is not in here. It's NLP is what is the list, like a higher tier, in compare with the like last few months is. So there will be, if you go to the job description, we will find there's more company want someone have more knowledge with NLP, which means if you want to upskill yourself, NLP is very trained like a technique, and also the machine learning infrastructures and the model engineering and the machine learning software engineering and the machine learning operations. So last one will be the career preparation and mentorship. So that's what we will cover in the AI bootcamp. Yeah, if you have some experience, you can join the AI bootcamp. Yeah, there will be another option for you. What percentage of people land job after your bootcamp? Yes, I mentioned like on 2021, and it will be 90% of people. Actually, let me show you this survey. Just give me 1 second. So the survey is done by the Canada government, and just give me 1 second. Yeah, so the replacement rate is 91%. Oh, Alex, do you still remember where I shared you the link? Somehow I cannot find it at this moment.
Yeah, I do. Let me I'll go to 1 second.
Yeah, and also we that's the official from the government, and on 2022, I think we have like a 80% replacement rate. Yeah, 80%, yes, because some of students are still in the mid of the interview or still stay in the real time project, and some students are not actively looking for the job because they just graduate. Some of students just graduate and still in the process. But as I share you, for the earlier 2023, and also our replacement rate like 70 to 80%. And I think as I mentioned, like there are a list of students able to land job within 6 months. Most of them are able to land job within 6 months. So normally you need to the average student land job within 6 months. Oh, thank you, Alex. So here is the key performance. And our graduation rate is 94.4, and our employment rate is 91%. And also that's very we proud of is our graduates stay in the field of study, which means they are become a data specialist, is 91%. Even though some other institute or schools, they may have the graduation rate close, employment rate close to 90s, but most of them average from 60 to 80s, but there are rate in the field of industry is extremely low. We are 91%, which means 91% of students land data job. Like other competitors or other schools will be maybe 50 or 60, so which means only half of students able to land a job. So in the end, they maybe stay, go back to the industry they come from, or they find different industry. And that's the informations, and we are very confident to our bootcamp, and also we are very confident with our results with our environment. Yeah, okay. So let's move back to the slides. I think this last part of the slides. Yeah. So for the full time, I believe most of the people who want to have career switch, you can join the full-time bootcamp, and it will be 3 months and 40 hours per week. It will the tuition including the portfolio project, real climb project, and the career. And if you join the part-time, it will be 6 months, and we will give you career support until you get a job. And also, the project will be optional, and you can pay. You need to pay separate to get a client project. So what you learn from the bootcamp, as mentioned, will be the Python SQL plus SQL database, and learn the machine learning, how to do the machine learning, learn the Spark. Big data is can be very important for you to land a job, because most of the big company, they do require you have knowledge on the cloud platform. And also you have few client projects, and you will join the real client project and have one-on-one career support. And also you can choose, if you already have some experience but you lack of the working experience, you can join the project only. And we do have this option if you want to just get some experience from our real client project. For the real client project, and also we will provide you the mentorship. So which means you will get the support from the client project until you find a job, and the one-on-one mentorship. For the part-time, there will be 6 months, and there will be 2 lectures a week from 7:30 to 10:30, and also we have a lab on Saturday. We also have on-demand TA, which means if you need help, I just make examples. So if you need help, you can ask the help from our TA. Our TA from different industry. For example, we have Robert, is a data scientist, data science analyst from Desjardins. We have Hannah from Big Data as data science consultant. Yuntal from Scotiabank as data scientist. We have strong TA teams, so you can book one-on-one meeting with our TAs, and they will give you support. Depends on their availabilities. You can choose the best time fit for your schedule. Okay, so
just to answer, I think I saw a question from Angela. What's the requirement to graduate the program? Is there a big test at the end? There's not one big test, there's several big tests. So for anyone to graduate, they have to carry a GPA of 70% or over. And at every sort of module, the conclusion of every module, whether it be a SQL, Python, machine learning, and big data, we have we do test you. There is also a midterm, and this is basically tested, I'd say every 2 to 3 weeks, with projects of one sort or another, whether it be through SQL coding questions, whether it be through a web scraping assignment. You'll have a portfolio project. You'll have a big data project. You'll have, as I mentioned, the midterm. You'll have a Tableau presentation challenge. And in addition to that, so in addition to sort of all the sort of the sort of like the technical testing, we do offer students the opportunity to present at every one of these stages, to present their findings, because for me, this is the soft skill of communication is one of the most underdeveloped skills in the industry, because largely as a data scientist, you will need to communicate to stakeholders. And insofar as that communication isn't as forthcoming or as confined to a particular, time requirement, then I think those data scientists ultimately struggle, because at the end of the day, your objective is to solve business problems, and you'll be dealing with business stakeholders, and you will be needed to convey your method, your approach, your expertise to, and particularly your approach to solving this business problem, and your ability to articulate it goes an extremely long way. Well, I always say that because, again, it's one of the most underdeveloped skills as far as I'm concerned in the field.
Okay, so if you have any questions, you can send email to info, or you can leave your personal email in the chat. We can reach out to you to answer your questions. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so so still, as we mentioned, actually, let me just pull out my data side. I would say the current job market is still is high demand. Let me just see if we can pull out the data. So according to our record, like there will be about like 60 to 100 job posts for data scientists, and 100 to 150 data analysis job being posted every day. For the machine learning engineer, always like around 50, and the data engineer like 70. So there's still a position available on the job markets, but still you have to make sure you're ready. First of all, you have to make sure you get the support from our mentor, and also you have to learn how to pass the interview. And we do see students constantly get interviews, but sometimes you are not ready. But never, I will say, be patient, don't give up. The reason is like there's always a job for you as long as you have enough patience, and also stay in the client project. You're gonna be noticed, you will learn new skills every day, which means you will be able to apply more jobs, like when you stack more skills. So if you have knowledge about like 2 or 3 different projects, then you can apply. Like I will say, the most of job on the market, and you should be able to answer all that questions. Yeah.
And sorry, Adam, just wanted to add, so with respect to the full-time and the part-time boot camp, the full-time boot camp is 40 hours a week, and I would always recommend that to anyone who had that amount of time to invest in their education in the week. I think it becomes ultimately much more difficult to complete if you have a job or something else sort of taking your time within that week. So in that case, we see many professionals who are holding a job do the part-time data science bootcamp. The curriculum is the same. It's just, again, the part-time is extended over a period of time, but it's ultimately probably more manageable given time commitments around other jobs.
Okay, we have a question from Cindy, and she asked if we are the best we can. If based on the numbers, yes, we are the best. And also based on the feedback, and also our reputation, yes, so far we are the best we can, because our replacement is really high, and our alumni across the industry in North America, and also we have strong a career support team for you. So which means if you need pass interview and the BIM data experience and our mentorship definitely give you something other bootcamp don't offer, and it definitely it definitely gets lots of advantage compared with other bootcamp. Yeah. So the club project for the part-time is optional. You can choose that still I will recommend to join the WeCloud project, especially for anyone don't have working experience. I think that's the key. Even so, you have really good educations, but sometimes the working experience is more valuable compared with your education background. The reason is when you go to the interview, they will ask you the technical questions and all the behavioral questions. Even though you have lots of knowledge maybe on the research, but you don't really apply your knowledge to the real world problem, then probably you don't get that offer just because it's very expensive for any company to retrain anyone to get this job. So they want somebody is ready to contribute their knowledge and work in the team and deliver the value to the company. So it's very important for everyone to get experience. Okay. Yeah, you can make decision at the end of the boot camp. Yeah, as optional. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What would be best scenario for the real client project all the options? What would be look for student employer full time with a part-time? Oh, I think that's a good question. For the time commitments, first of all, if you want to join the project only, you have to pass the real client project admission test. So we will give you some tests to test your SQL, Python, and machine learning. But still, we have a test for maybe for the data scientist will be more focused on machine learning. For data analytics, more for the Python and SQL. For machine learning engineer, maybe also more for the machine learning, right? So we have the test for you. If you're able to pass the test, and there will be a minimum time commitment is 15 hours to 20 hours per week, which means you normally have a weekly meeting with client or project manager or project lead to talk about the project you've been working on, get some feedback or instructions. Yeah, so normally each project takes 3 months, and normally you may need to try to apply for the job after the first project, because that's the time you have knowledge on one domain area or apply some knowledge on one use cases. So you can try to apply the job that is relevant to your experience. And also meanwhile, you will take the second project and then repeatedly doing that, and most cases we will expect you to land a job within 2 projects, which is 6 months. Yeah. So yeah, 15 hours to 20 hours minimum requirements. If you can contribute more, you can talk with project manager, and they will give you the best suits client project. Okay, you're welcome. Again, so yeah, so it's going to be very important for you to make some plan for your career, because I think for most of people knows, like now everything, like every industry career switch fast, same as a data field. We have to learn new things every day. And in the traditional, especially in the traditional industry, I heard there will be, I think Alex mentioned in the last info sections, now there are AI lawyer, right? So we never saw a lawyer can be replaced, but nowadays a lawyer can be replaced. So which means there's no security job ever, right? So the if they can replace you by AI out, because AI is like a part of the natural language model, like which data scientists created, right? And combined with a data engineer. So there's no job with security in the traditional industry. So it's very important for everyone to upskill yourself and make sure you will have long-term, you have better career planning for the long term, because in the end of the career, or end of the day, you are looking for two things. Once, if this the good industry for you to stay in. Secondly, if the salary meets your expectation. So both of them is very important, and also it's better for I think it's better for us to think about what's the best fit for you and what will happen if you stay on that plan for 10 years, what happen, or 20 years, what happen next. For the full-time bootcamp, and I will share you on this. I will go through that. I will share that in the chat. For the full-time bootcamp, this will be a diploma if you are from Canada, and this will be certifications if you're from United States. For the data scientists, we will talk about the SQL. We won't talk too much SQL because mainly SQL is about for you to load the data, do some data like ETL. It's about like a week SQL trainings. Then we move on to the Python. Python, we will focus on the Python because there will be so many library, very important as data scientists for you to use. So for the Python, you will know what's the data structure, functions, and like a library like pandas, and you can use that to do some visualizations. Then we move on to the machine learning. You will know how to build a basic model to apply for the real world problems and to solve the real world problems. And also we have deep learnings inside this course, but we're not going to be cover it a lot. Again, so as a junior positions, we don't expect you to have a, oh, sorry, I didn't dare share a screen. Alex, can you see my screen?
Yep, for the applied machine learning module 3.
Oh yeah, so yeah, so for the machine learning, yeah, so we don't talk about lots of deep learning, as mentioned. Deep learning normally being tuning or being employment by the senior position. As junior position, you're not really able to make any changes to the deep learning. So you may have some experiments for the startup or some project, but you don't really need to have like very strong deep learning, because again, if you don't use to the real world and your knowledge, most of the case, it's not gonna be give you lots of value to go through the interview. So unless you have the real world experience in the real cloud project, the deep learning can help you to land a job. And then we move on to the big data. Big data is super important. And nowadays, if you are going to the other, like let's go to LinkedIn, and you will notice the most of the job, they will list the big data on the on their job description. For example, let me just randomly click any of these. Let me just go this one. So yeah, so as you can see, like they do require some cloud knowledge, such as AWS, Google cloud platform, or Azure. So most of the company, let me click another one. I think this one doesn't mention. Yeah, some company they didn't mention, but still you you will find like the majority of company, they prefer someone who has knowledge of big data. The reason because when you're able to apply a machine learning model, or if you do an ETL, in the big company, and the data is centralized, which means all the data is on the cloud. And if you're using the like a traditional SQL or Python, it takes way too long to execute that query or that process. So you do need to require some knowledge using like a EC2 start a large scale scaling mod, like a powerful EC2 to run that test more efficiently, and also like nowadays, like big companies are built their database on the cloud, so you have to get strong understanding how to using such as AWS or Databricks to do the maybe the ETL or build machine learning or do the visualization. So that's what be very like on-demand skills. And also we do have some project, as mentioned, as some of the personal portfolio project, and there will be some use cases being introduced. And also we do have career preparations. You can looking for curriculums by request a full package, and you can note more details.